Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Sarana. In previous video, I discussed, that I will be sharing my journey with intermittent fasting. This video would be a super long video because there is so much information that I could share about intermittent fasting and my journey with intermittent fasting that I had great success with weight loss. So let's just get into it. In July of 2023, my husband and I decided we're gonna do a spiritual fast. We felt that mentally we needed it, spiritually our soul needed it. So we decided we're gonna do from 6 in the morning to 6 in the evening, just praying and fasting. The first day, it was a bit difficult, of course, abstaining from food. I remember laying in my room on the floor and just praying, crying out to God, just being vulnerable to God. And at the end of the day, I felt like something lifted from me, something lifted from my spirit, my body. I just felt a sense of clarity. I felt light, and spiritually, like everything was just like sharp, like I can't explain totally what I felt, but it was a wonderful feeling. And my husband and I sat and we discussed, how he felt and how I felt after the fast. We decided let's do it again the following day. So we did, and again, the same feeling, amazing feeling. So in our discussion, we said, you know what? We felt so clean, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So let's omit meat from our diet, and let's continue to fast. So then I mentioned to him about intermittent fasting, which I had tried before, but never really had any success in terms of weight loss. To be honest, I may have lost probably a pound or two before, because even though I was doing the intermittent fasting, I was just eating within a window, but I would consume everything and everything during that window. So it didn't make much of a difference. But on this journey, it felt different. I don't know what exactly happened after that 2 days, but my appetite shrunk. I actually, the portion that I used to eat before, I could no longer consume that amount. I felt like in every meal, I felt like I just can't, it's just smaller and smaller portion. So I mentioned that to my husband, and he was like, yeah, I just feel different. He said, I'm on a high, something's just different. So we both draw the same conclusion after the second day. So we said, you know what? Let's just make this part of our lifestyle. However, we're going to stay away from any form of meat except fish, seafood. So basically, we decided to go pescatarian during that time. We did not have a time frame in which we're going to maintain it, or how long we're going to do it. We just decided, you know what, we're not eating chicken or any form of meat like pork, beef or anything. We could just eat fish, seafood, what have you. So day 2, when I broke the fast, my sister came up by me. She was traveling to Canada, and normally when she travels, she will, we will meet up and have some girl chat, just catch up with what's going on in each other's life and so on. I was breaking the fast at 6 p.m., but I extended it because she was coming up. She came with a bottle of rosé and a big um, tin of nuts, mixed nuts, cashew, because I love nuts. And, normally we used to have the whatever wine or we'll have it with some nuts or whatever previous, you know, occasion. So she brought the wine, and I asked her, "Did you have dinner before?" And she said, "No, no, no." So I said, "Okay, we're gonna have dinner together." So I made a green salad, and I remember having some fried fish that I got the night before, and because it was too late, I did not eat it. So automatically, I already like cut off eating at a certain time and whatnot. And so we had dinner, and I was sipping on the rosé. I hope I'm saying it right, either rosé or rose, what have you. But it, if you know, you know. So I was sipping on it, and for me, I used to enjoy my wine. If I'm cooking, I will pour myself a glass of wine, and I will cook, and then I will sit and have another glass of wine. So sometimes I consume a bottle of wine in like 2 days. That was before this journey. And I know I was consuming way too much alcohol. But it's something about a glass of wine in the evening to wind down and just relax and so on. I remember what I used to do, like my husband and I, we will sit and just chatting in the evening, and he's not a wine drinker. He's not really an alcohol drinker, really. I am the one that used to drink the alcohol, meaning only wine and gin and tonic and those kind of things. So I will pour a glass of wine, knowing that he will probably just take a sip, but I know I'm going to drink it after. That is, that used to be me. Anyways, so while having dinner with my sister, we chatting, just catching up with each other and so on, I realized the appetite for alcohol was just not there. And this is something, it was a good tasting bottle of rosé, and just what I liked. But for some reason, the taste just became faint. I just was not having it. And she would just have one glass and that's it. So normally when she bring a bottle, I am the one that will consume most of it. So I realized I was struggling to drink that glass. The evening, I just, after she and I finished catching up and everything, I put away the bottle of rosé, and normally I would have finished that in one night. I just did not feel for it. And after that night, mentally I made a decision that I will no longer consume alcohol. It has been 2 years plus which I have not consumed alcohol. And in honesty, I don't miss it. I believe any journey that we're starting, it must start up. To have success, it must start off from a spiritual place. Because we started off by doing a spiritual fast. We had no intention of doing anything pertaining to intermittent fasting or losing weight. Losing weight was not even in my mind at that point. I remember just a little rewinding back. My husband and I went to a pastor, we went to a deliverance service and just, praying and so on. We're the type of family, we don't like the big commercial kind of church. We like the village church where you can just go everybody is just like so down to earth. And you know, to me, I feel God presence in those places, those simple churches. So we went to that deliverance service, and we had a spiritual breakthrough. The pastor was praying for me, and at that time, guys, I was 214, 15 pounds. I never mentioned anything about me wanting to lose weight. The, the thought, yes, was in my mind, but I never had a plan. You know, how am I going to lose this weight, or had anything in place? That pastor, while he prayed for me, while he was praying for me, he said, God will restore your physical fitness. And I was like, what? You know, I, I was, but okay, I took it like, like nothing, because he mentioned other things, and, but still, it was not in my mind like, okay, anything. He just said, God will restore your physical fitness. I did not tell this man that I wanted to lose weight or on a journey or anything. Then the fasting, when we went on that fasting, it was probably a few days after we embark on this spiritual fast. So that will give you a clear understanding on what took place, where God presence was in this whole journey. So we went on with our lives, we made a decision, fasting, basically eating within a specific window. That was our plan, just giving our body a break. The only decision that we made was staying away from chicken, meat, and just consuming more seafood and fish. Then me just not feeling for the alcohol. It was something that was just natural. It was not me just saying, okay, I'm not drinking alcohol. I just did not feel for alcohol. So these two things was the result from that spiritual fast, among other things, in our personal life and family life and everything. We saw a lot of change in our business and everything. A lot of growth, a lot of, things happened during that time. So guys, I started to, just go online and just things just popping up to me. Sometimes I don't know if the internet have some kind of wire to your brain or something to know exactly what you're thinking, because sometimes you're going through things, or you have your thoughts in your head, and then automatically you see it on the internet. So all these intermittent fasting stuff, videos keep popping up on YouTube, and curious, I will just click on them. I remember clicking on Dr. Mindy Pelz, and she was talking about intermittent fasting, the benefits of intermittent fasting. So I started to follow her because, everything she was saying made a lot of sense. So she has a book, Fast Like a Girl, I believe that's the book. And, she was discussing the book. So every day I was driven to go look at her, videos and so on. So I looked at tons of videos. So by looking at the videos, I started to incorporate some of the things that she was saying, like, for example, breaking your fast, using high protein meals, and so on. Because as I said, I did not have a plan. I did not, say like, okay, I'm eating this amount of calories. I had no plans. It just was, I'm eating within a window, and my stomach just could not consume, the same amount as it used to before. I was not even checking numbers on the scale. It was never about weight loss. It just was like my life just changed, and every day something new start happening. So by looking at her video, I started to incorporate a little bit more protein in my diet. Not meeting the daily targets, of course, but just, she would say, have certain food and, you know, to break the fast with that. And I started to do that. Then I came across another person. Her name is Colleen Marquez. She did alternate day fasting. It is an intermittent fasting, but it's called alternate day fasting because you eat day in and day out. So you will eat a meal today, and then tomorrow, for 36 hours, you would not consume any food, just probably water or black coffee. So that kind of piqued my interest. So I started to follow her as well and listen to her. Then I believe why the video linked me to her, why YouTube linked me to her, because I actually was following Dr. Mindy Pills, and apparently she followed Dr. Mindy Pills as well, because she mentioned her in her video. So maybe that's why, that's where the connection came from. So I started to listen her and watch her videos, and pretty interesting. I'm like, can I do 36 hours? And mind you, when I started the intermittent fasting, I was eating within 16-8 window. So let me just briefly say what intermittent fasting is. Intermittent fasting is not a diet. It's basically a time frame in which you eat, a time, like a window in which you eat. So when I say 16-8, I was fasting for 16 hours and eating my meals within an 8-hour window. I downloaded an app, a friend of mine who I mentioned it to, mention what I want to do. He sent me an app that I could download, and up to today I still use that app. So I put in the period or the type of fasting that I want to do. So I chose the 16-8 window, and I was consuming my meal within 8 hours and 16 hours. And what I did for myself mentally is telling myself, okay, I'm sleeping 8 hours, so that's 8 hours of the fasting time already covered by me sleeping, and the other 8 hours is not too bad. So it was not a case where I'm like, okay, I need food, I need to have food, like I was not triggered, by food or craving or feeling hungry. When I was on that journey, trust me, it just felt great. I just felt amazing. Sometimes I fasted for like 20 hours without even knowing. I'm like, oh, I went about my day and I'm like, oh my God, I haven't eaten anything. And I did not feel it physically. I did not feel hungry. I did not feel anything. I had energy. Sometimes, I drink my water and, that was it. So going back a bit, I started to follow Colleen Marie Cares. That's her YouTube channel. That's her name on YouTube. And she spoke about her journey with intermittent fasting and the method alternate day fast. And more, I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to try that. So she had a method in which she used, I think it was sun up to sundown. And so basically it was 36 hours fasting. So say for example, in the morning when the sun comes up, I start fasting, and the following day when the sun goes down, I break my fast. So I did that the first day I started that. I actually went up to 39 hours without knowing. So I was way above the 36-hour mark. When I catch, and I was not hungry. Some people say they will have headache and all of that. I got none of that. I consumed absolutely nothing. It had a portion where I believe I did a dry fast, meaning not even drinking water. You know, like I believe the first 15 hours of that fast, I did not even drink some water. And then later on, I probably had a few glasses just, you know, to keep my organs, you know, working. So I did that, and when I broke that fast, I broke it with, you know, I went into it eating light meal. I was not consuming anything too heavy. And again, it's like my stomach shrunk even smaller after that. And I'm like, this feeling really good. I hope you guys can hear me because the rain is cool. Where I am in the Caribbean, we hear the rain on the roof, which is really nice for sleeping but not nice for doing YouTube videos. Anyways, so I did that first day. Then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it another time during the course of that week. So I did, for the first week, I did alternate day fasting for like about 3 days that week. And by the end of that week, meaning 7 days stretch, 7 day stretch, I actually weighed myself, and I remember losing about 4 pounds. I was not jumping up about it because I'm like, okay, when I start to eat food, you know, maybe I might put it back on. So I did not, you know, focus on the number. And at that time, mentally, number did not bother me. It's just like the feeling I was going by, how I feel. I felt more energetic. I felt more confident. I felt amazing mentally, you know, spiritually. You know, things was just, I felt a sharpness in my brain. Is like, you know, I'll get into it. So then the following week, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do, I did not have like, you know, for example, saying like I'm going to do 2-3 days. I just decided, okay, I'm going to do a day of alternate day fasting. I did 1 day that week, and then the rest of the days, I went back to my 16-8 window, intermittent fasting. After that month, say July 22nd to where I started the spiritual fast. So I'm counting from the spiritual fast, July 22nd to about August 22nd or 23rd, I dropped about 11 pounds. And because when I checked my weight, I believe I was like about 202, and I was like, wow, I felt amazing. But again, now I was not too focused on the numbers. In the past, I used to be obsessive about numbers on the scale. But this journey, I don't know, God had done something to me mentally because I was not focused on the numbers on the scale. I was just all about how I was feeling at the time. Then we went into like month 2. I'm making more changes in terms of, well, mind you, I always eat healthy. I eat, over the years, I had previous, you know, weight loss journey. So I have my nutrition down. The only problem I believe I had was the portion. I used to consume large portion. And first of all, you know, I thoughts coming back to my mind. So this, you know, I'm kind of all over the place. I gained that last amount of weight through pregnancy. I was actually 240 pounds at the end of my pregnancy and having the baby, I went down to 214. So just a little background on why, I had that weight to lose. Previously, before my pregnancy, I was like somewhere around 185 thereabout, which was still considered overweight. But at that time, I was not even thinking about, you know, losing weight or anything, because I was working out in the gym, lifting, and I was comfortable where I was before my pregnancy. But then gaining that weight after the pregnancy, the first year I decided, well, let me focus on my child. I was not even thinking about weight loss. As I said, I was just going through life, but taking care of myself. I always said to myself, like after I dedicated my first year to my last kid, and then the second year I will start working on getting back into, fitness and so on. So just a little, information there so you can understand why I had to go on a weight loss slash fitness journey, because that's where I gained the weight from. But previously, I had everything in terms of workout. I was eating healthy and everything. So fast forwarding again, I always had the nutrition part down, so I understand nutrition. I understand, in terms of weight loss, how to eat and whatnot. But this journey, I learned so much more. While I was losing weight on intermittent fasting, I was reading a lot of different things, the stages your body goes through when on a fast, while fasting. So at that time, I was not gymming or anything. I was doing low impact walk. I would just go for evening walk, low impact. Sometimes I used to do a bit of power walk, but probably say 5 days a week I walk. 3 or 2 days out of that 5 days I would do a little power walk. So that was my workout schedule and intermittent fasting. So let's say about 3 months in, I was already down to like about 35-40 pounds. I felt good. As I said, mental clarity, everything, just I was not stressed. I weigh on the scale, sometimes I see 5 pounds off, 3 pounds off, and I'm, whatever it is, I was happy, because I look at it like I pictured a pound of sugar. That was me. I'm like, 1 pound of sugar, and I compare it to 1 pound of fat, and I'm like, this is what I'm removing from my body. So that was like a victory for me, whether it's 1 pound, whether it's half pound. All I was seeing is the amount of fat I'm removing from my body. As time progresses, I went through Christmas. I had that year, because we were not eating meat, I remember having smoked salmon and what have you. I ate cake. The evening, I went for a nice walk, my husband and I, after our meal on Christmas Day and Boxing Day, So it was just normal, enjoying my cakes. I love baking, so I had my cakes, I had my meal. We had fish during that time and shrimps, I remember. No chicken or anything. And we were not tempted. My daughter, she lives in another apartment in the house, and she has her own stuff. She cooks her own meals. So she was cooking like the chicken, the turkey and the pork and whatnot. And, we were not even tempted. We were not tempted. We were eating what we were eating, and we were feeling good. By Christmas that year, I believe I was about 175, 180. I think probably 175 for the max. I think that was my weight. Then, so going through Christmas, I weighed myself the end of December, and I actually went down to about 170. So I'm like, I went through Christmas and I'm still losing weight. That was just amazing. You know, some people say the holiday they eat and they put on weight. That was not the case. And this, I am going on my third year, and 2 consecutive years I have been intermittent fasting. My program has changed for the second year, and I still go through Christmas not gaining a pound because I have control. You know, I enjoy what's in front of me. I enjoy my meal. I partake in everything. I go to gatherings, but I have that sense of discipline that I believe in previous years I did not have. I can actually go out and I'm like, no, I'm fasting. The food is around me. It does not bother me. I would eat what I set out to eat. I'm like, okay, I'm having one slice of cake, I'm having this, that, and that's it. So we did that no meat thing for that 6 months. The January I started to incorporate, you know, chicken again. And I remember getting into beef because looking at Dr. Mindy Pelz and all of those people, they were stressing about protein. And to me, I felt that I needed more option. And especially for breakfast, I love a savory breakfast. So I felt like I needed probably some turkey breast. I got bored of just eating tuna, and I wanted more eggs and turkey bacon and so on. So but my body fell for it at that time. So the January of that year, I started doing that. Then I started to feel, you know, that I needed strength training. My husband always say, you know, you're losing weight and you're not looking drawn. Your face is so nice. I've seen people lost weight and their face is thing. I love your skin and everything. But I felt that in previous years working out in the gym, I felt more muscular, I felt more toned. So I said I felt more stronger. I felt stronger back then when I was gymming. So I'm like, you know what? The walking alone, it's nice, it's low impact on my body, but I feel like I need to incorporate strength training. And of course, I knew that I lost muscle mass through, while I'm losing weight. For some reason, I felt it. I felt the tone was not there as it was before. And I say, you know what? I need to do some form of strength training. I signed up in the gym. Like I did a daily pass because I could not, commit to a monthly schedule, because at that time I was actually doing some professional upgrade, which was mentally draining. Also, a lot was going on in my life. My husband was traveling because his career had just, shifted, and he was out there marketing his stuff. We have the kids, and plus I am doing professional upgrade. So I'm like, with me juggling the kid at that time, was my husband and I was the only driver in the house, so we had to do the drop off, the pickup, and where he was traveling, all the responsibility came on me to drop off the pickup, and it was just draining. So I could not commit to a gym like 3 days a week or whatever. So it's like any morning that I feel like I can go, I just go. And that was it. So I was doing a day fasting. While scrolling on the internet, I found Sydney Cummings, and I started doing her workout. I did not have much weight. I probably had about a 6 pound, and probably just a 6 pound weight I had. And so I started doing her workout without weight, pretty much, and it felt good. And when I could go to the gym, I go, and I started to feel really good. At that time, I was not taking supplements, which is a bad thing. Guys, take your supplement if you embarking on any form of weight loss fitness journey. Your supplements is important. I was not taking supplements. I felt like if I take supplement, probably might make me eat and all of that, so I was not taking my supplement. I felt sometimes when I'm bending down to pick up the weights, I felt dizzy, so I decided let me go and do my blood work, which I usually do my physical in the beginning of every year. And it was already January, February, I think it was already around February, March, I did not do my blood work. I think I probably know in the back of my head that, something will happen. So when I decided to go, I did my blood work. My iron blood level, it was low. And immediately my doctor told me I need to go on some supplements. Trihemic, she put me on to build the blood back up really fast. So I started to take the trihemic, and I realized my blood, start building because I felt different. I remember not, I would be laying in the bed and I just can't sleep because I just can't close my eyes. I scrolling all over the internet, reading all kind of thing, and when I look at the time, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, no sleep. And guys, sleep is important. Sleep is important on any fitness or weight loss journey. Sleep is important in order to get result. For the journey that I'm on right now, as I said, is a fitness journey. In order for my muscles to grow, I need to sleep. So I am getting minimum of 6 to 8 hours sleep every night. Sleep is important. We have to stop the scrolling on the internet, take the television off, get your sleep. It's important to have success on any journey. And guys, just a disclaimer, everything that I share here is my journey. What worked for me, I'm just sharing my story. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a doctor. This is just a girl on the internet just sharing her story. So if my journey can help you, that's the reason, I'm sharing it here. But make sure if you're embarking on any form of nutrition, fitness, weight loss journey, check with your doctor. It's important. Don't just take what I say with a grain of salt, because it worked for me does not necessarily say it's going to work for you. So yeah, going back, I noticed my blood level, iron was low, so got the supplement, started to feel good. At that point, I believe I was down to like 155, 160 thereabout. And I felt good, looking good in my clothes. But I remember my husband was saying, oh, your butt gets so flat. And I realized he started to look at me like, yes, you're not drawn or anything, but when I met you, you were a little bit thicker and so on. I'm like, okay, what is he trying to say now? You're losing too much weight. So at that point now, you find I'm losing too much weight. And I'm like, but I'm doing this for me, doing this for me. But I could see that, he was not 100% happy with, how I just losing all the weight. Because, the Caribbean men, they love a little pickums, you know what I mean? So I kept telling him, I find you being selfish, this is about me and, what have you. But, that's another story. So I went down to like 145 pounds by me intermittent fasting. As I said, I always eat healthy, but the portion control and the alcohol. I believe the alcohol played a significant role in the weight loss journey. And so I was down to like about 65, 70 pounds, and that was last year. Um, September, I went to the US on vacation and I joined a fitness club over there. I worked out for 3 weeks, lifting weights, doing my cardio, what have you, maintaining my fitness, nutrition thing while I'm on vacation. I was not eating crap. I would have everything in moderation. I had my fasting, everything. So, normally when you're on vacation, you just want to nibble at everything and anything. No, I was not doing that. I had fun on my vacation, but I was very cautious in what I was eating. At that point, I was 145 pounds. I went down to 145 pounds. And as I said, yes, I felt good. I felt energetic. I felt sexy. But, I was lifting weight. I started to really lift weight in the US because in the gym, I was looking at all those girls and so on. I'm like, and they lifting and so on. So that kind of motivated me to get on the lifting journey. When I came back from vacation, I decided, you know what, I'm going to up my game in terms of, incorporating weight training. So I was working out with Sydney Cummings already, so I had to get heavier weights now. So I got a few 10 pounds, 20 pounds weight, and I've been doing that, a lot of progressive overload. That's another topic, we'll get into that form of training. So I started to do that 3 days a week. I'm never a runner. I started to run like 2 days a week. I was running like about 3 miles. 3 miles within 1 hour. And that was something that I could have never done, was run. So I was running during that period last year and so on. And I had a goal. I'm like, in 2025, I'm going to be doing, a 5K and doing a marathon, train for half a marathon and whatnot. So while I continued to train and so on, I felt my body started getting stronger and I noticed increase on the scale. However, I'm seeing the change on the scale. I'm not triggered by it because for some reason my clothes fit the same and I'm feeling stronger. I'm seeing more definition in areas in my body, and I'm like, I like this. And I noticed my hips went up a bit because my butt, is growing, is lifted because my butt had drooped. It had drooped. So I started to do a lot of butt training and whatnot. And the scale tipped up to 159, sometimes 160, sometimes 162. But I'm okay with it because I feel amazing. I feel more confident in my clothes. I feel more sexy when I dress. And when I'm in the mirror, standing in front of the mirror, I feel good, looking at me, in the mirror, naked. And so, yes, so guys, basically, this is not all. There's a lot more I could share. In order to cut this video here, intermittent fasting worked. It worked for me. But most importantly, it started off, I believe why it worked for me, because it started off spiritually. I believe this journey was orchestrated by God, because I will tell you straight up, even though you're fasting, make sure to pray. Whether it's intermittent fasting, keep praying. It's important. And so anything you do, start it off spiritually in order to have success. Because this was my journey. As I don't know if intermittent fasting chose me or I choose intermittent fasting. But because I embarked on a spiritual journey, I had success physically, you understand, through intermittent fasting. And so as I told you, my stomach shrunk and all these things just start happening. It was not me. It was just, I can't explain it, but I believe it was spiritual. I'm going to end this video for now because I can sit here and ramble for the whole day. But because I have a lot of information, there's a lot of things, but we have a lifetime to talk, to catch up. I will share more with you. The videos coming up will be centered around Christmas. I love Christmas, so I will have weight loss, nutrition, fitness in there, but there will be a lot of Christmas stuff. So guys, I'm going to end for now. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Have a good one.